Hello, everybody, and welcome to SWBC's very first podcast, Uncharted Wealth. I'll be your host, Mike Walters. I'm a certified financial planner, also a wealth advisor here in the investment services division. We'll be doing this podcast every 2 weeks to go over complex financial topics, break them down for you. We'll go over maybe some current market trends. We'll have guests on the show, and really just try and break things down so that most people can understand what's going on in the financial world, okay? Break it down in layman's terms for the average person. Not saying you're average, but just so everybody understands where we're coming from. Now look at these books. I know what I'm talking about, okay? Just kidding. Here we go. So what is wealth management? I've had people throughout my career say, you're a financial advisor, are you a wealth advisor, financial planner, what are these things? Well, a wealth advisor really is just someone that's helping to guide you in reaching your financial goals, okay? The definition of wealth can mean different things to different people. So if you're wealthy, most of the time people use money as the determinant of whether they're wealthy or not. So if you have a lot of money, you're automatically wealthy, right? But to me and some other people I know, maybe having time to spend with your family means that you're wealthy. Or being able to have flexibility to do what you want in your life, that means being wealthy. So when we're talking with our clients and helping them achieve their goals or helping them find ways to better reach their goals, it's really about managing expectations, educating them on what the different financial aspects of their life can be, and how to reach those goals using these monetary aspects, like your income, your expenses, savings, stuff like that. Most of it is going to be in-person, face-to-face contact. We do a lot of in-person meetings. That's kind of just how our industry has been. I will say that since the COVID pandemic happened, a lot of us had to get really good with virtual meetings like Zoom and Teams. We had to get really good with that really quick, or our clients would just kind of be in the dark. We'll still prefer face-to-face, but by having that flexibility to meet virtually or over the phone, we're able to work with clients whether they are in Texas or they're in a different state or even a different country. So by being able to get to know you and communicate with you on a regular basis, that's how we are able to effectively manage that relationship. So wealth can mean a lot of different things, but we're not here to talk about all those different things. We're here to talk about money and your finances and why keep track of it and why engage with someone like me. Well, when I'm first engaging with a client, one of the most important things to really uncover is their spending habits. And I can tell you 9 times out of 10, when I ask someone, hey, what are your monthly expenses? Do you track it? It's always like blank stares, like, oh, my mortgage is this, my utilities are that, but they're really not tracking where all their money's going. And that's why a lot of these apps are coming out these days that track it for you. And you have to pay for that. That's another expense. So it's very important for you to be tracking where your money is going. Not only, we know the money that's coming in is going to come from your paycheck or, for maybe a side hustle that you're doing or something like that, but it's important to know the full picture of your cash flows, what's coming in, what's going out. And, I always say, how do you know how you're going to get somewhere if you don't know where you are currently? And that's really the whole goal of financial planning, is to see, hey, these are your goals. Where are we at currently? What can we do to maybe reach those goals more efficiently? So tracking your expenses and just having a good picture of your overall cash flows each month, that's a good start. But for a good portion of my clients who are maybe just now starting out on this journey, a lot of them have came to me and said, what is the point of worrying about all this now? If they're 20, 30, 40, 50 years out from retirement, what is the reason that we're doing this? Okay. And there's a bunch of technical things I can throw at you, like compounding interest and your returns on investments and things like that. But the best thing that I've heard recently is the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, or if you couldn't have done it 10 years ago, do it right now, right? So it's better late than never, those kind of sayings. It's really just good to get in those good habits of knowing where your money's at, knowing where it's going, developing these good savings habits, because that way, as you progress through life, as you progress through your career, make more money, things happen in your life, life throws you curveballs, you still want to maintain those good habits of putting money away, because what you're not thinking about are all the intricacies that happen when you start getting close to this retirement age that your maybe your parents or your grandparents, great-grandparents are already dealing with. And it's a lot of things to consider. Of course, we're not looking at income strategies and Social Security yet, but as beginners, those are the things that you want to start getting your feet wet before you jump into the deep end. Now, for my other group of clients and listeners that maybe they've already been saving for a few decades, they're already got their retirement accounts built up, they tend to have different questions than my rookies who are just kind of starting out in this whole deal. Questions like, when can I retire? When do I take Social Security? What is Medicare? These types of things are going to be a lot different to somebody who maybe is just getting out in the workforce. Most clients that I have that are in these kind of age groups, they're thinking about, I'm just going to retire as soon as I can take Social Security, which happens to be the age of 62, which is most people's. Hey, I'm just going to retire at 62. If you've never planned on when you're going to actually retire, that is the default age. And as somebody just told me, that is actually the average age that people are retiring here in the U.S. And I think it's because that's when people can start taking their Social Security benefits. But there's a lot of different ways you can go about that. If you've never had somebody run an analysis on optimizing your Social Security benefits, on when you should take it. Should you wait? Should you take it early? Did you know that there's penalties if you don't take it at a certain time? Things like that. Those are the things that engaging with somebody like myself is going to maybe get those questions answered for you to determine, hey, when can I retire and what kind of retirement can I have? So in this podcast, every episode, we're going to have a section called the Uncharted, where I'm going to try to explore an uncharted territory. I'm going to get user submissions. We're going to come up with things behind the scenes of basically trying to break down one topic that tends to cause confusion with a lot of people. And today's topic is all you need is a good 401k to retire. What does a good 401k mean? I don't even know what that means. But a good 401k. Now, you could think, a good 401k is one that has a lot of money in it, right? What is a 401k? Well, it's a retirement plan that's sponsored by your employer. But there's a lot of different things that go into when you can retire. And so for you to say, I have a good 401k, I'll be set for retirement, it's silliness, okay? A bunch of silly gooses running around here. So it's knowing what are your expenses going to be in retirement? What kind of investments are you going to have in your 401k? What's your savings rate? Should you be doing, pre-tax contributions, which is usually the default when you put money into your 401k? Or maybe you should do a Roth contribution, which means that you put money in there and then the money's never taxed again. There's some exceptions to that, but we're not going to get into that today. But to just say, I just have a good 401k, that's going to set me up for retirement, that is a fallacy, okay? There's a lot that goes into knowing when to retire, and that's why engaging with a professional, a financial planner, a wealth advisor is going to help you determine, am I on track to retire? What other investments can I be doing? What other products can I have to maybe help me get to that point? So it's not just, you sign up for your 401k with your employer. Maybe they do automatic annual increases to your contribution rate, but there's a lot of things involved. And so it's our job to help you guide through that, see what those options are, and see how you can more effectively get to that finish line. Now we are going to wrap this up. I just want to say thank you to everybody who stayed for this whole thing. I was pretty nervous, if you can't tell, but we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks on Wednesday, so mark your calendars. We're going to have different topics. We're going to interview some folks every now and then. We're going to have some cool guests on the show. Feel free to submit feedback to us. Hit up SWBC on all our social channels, Facebook, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Just a reminder that anything that I say on this podcast is mostly my opinion, okay? Not SWBC's opinion, not the founder's opinion or the executives, okay? And then as you heard at the beginning, there were some disclosures. None of this is to be taken as tax, legal, or financial advice, okay? If you want to learn more about any of the topics discussed or you want to engage with a wealth advisor, feel free to contact us. Go to our website, give us a call. We'd love to chat with you. And again, thank you for joining us on SWBC's Uncharted Wealth podcast.
Investing involves certain risks, including possible loss of principal. You should understand and carefully consider a strategy's objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information before investing. The views expressed in this commentary are subject to change and are not intended to be a recommendation or investment advice. Such views do not take into account the individual financial circumstances or objectives of any investor that receives them. This information should not be considered a solicitation nor a recommendation of an offer to provide any service in any jurisdiction where it would be unlawful to do so under the laws of that jurisdiction. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Please consult with your individual tax professionals and/or attorney for additional information.